All right, well, I'll make a statement and then certainly take questions. It's good to get the first one behind us, not only the first game, but certainly the first win. I was proud of our kids' effort. I was proud of the job that our coaching staff did leading into this first opponent. It was a tough opponent to prepare for in terms of a new staff, new schemes, limited video. But as we talked to our players over the last 2 weeks, what we've been doing offensively in terms of tempo and schemes, and the same thing on the defensive side of the ball, we didn't feel like we'd see much different or out of the ordinary that we've been practicing for in terms of going against ourselves. So I was proud of the way we executed. Certainly there's some things we've got to clean up. I don't want to sound like they're taken lightly when I say there are some first game mistakes, but penalties, we might have set a world record for penalties in a game. I thought I saw 14, and I did. And we talked at halftime, and certainly again at the end of the game, 14 penalties for 126 yards, and that doesn't count the positive yards we gained on those plays that we lost. So I'm going to be looking at a cut-up tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. in my office of every penalty we had and see what the problem was. And some of it might have been some of the backups in there at times, some communication on the snaps, but we kind of ran the gamut, if you will, on penalties. We hit the long snapper on an extra point, so we went through a number of them, and that's unacceptable, and that's something we have been emphasizing. We've had officials at practice quite often, and for team and our scrimmages, but that's something we got to get cleaned up. I thought the officials did a fantastic job, and it'll be addressed again this weekend. But we got the win. We did what we needed to do to get the win in the fashion we did. And I think anytime you're +4 in turnover margin, which is our number one goal each week, you got a great chance to win the football game. So I was proud of our defense for creating the turnovers. I think it was 3 fumbles and an interception by Tommy Mark, and certainly our offense for taking great care of the football.
Tony, coming into the game, you had said you'd like to get John O'Corn in there to play. The fact that he played the entire second half, almost the entire second, did you expect that, or just kind of going off of what you saw?
No, that was our plan. That was our plan heading in, was John was going to get the 4th series, and then we were going to start the second half with David Pylan, and John would play the rest of the second half.
Coach, being able to get 81-plus offensive plays, were you hoping to at least get into your stride and looking for that outcome, or were you surprised about it just for this being the first game?
No, I've been asked a lot about, and been asked that a lot lately in terms of the tempo of our offense. I think a lot of it has been from journalists and media in the up in the East, because they're not necessarily used to this tempo. And again, we don't necessarily chart how fast we're going on a clock or how many plays we get. I think I'm looking here; it looks like we got 88 snaps on offense. I think you have an idea in your mind. I certainly do, and Coach Meacham and our offensive staff does as well, on how quickly you want to be operating. And I thought there were times this evening where the tempo was not fast enough, and that's something we talked about as a staff on the sideline. We talked about at halftime, and again, whether it's communication, whether it was the procedure on the officials standing over the ball during substitutions. But again, that's something that I've got a whole list of notes here that I took during the game that's going to be addressed this weekend.
Almost 400 yards rushing, Tony. I mean, you talked about the Ryan Jackson, Ken O'Farrell combination. They almost have 300 on their own, I believe, or close to it. You just talk about the production there, from what you saw from those two guys and just having the ball.
Well, I've been saying this quite a bit, and if I say it, I truly mean it. Those are 2 young men whose names will become household names at the end of the season. And Ryan's very dynamic. Certainly, Farrow brings a different element of power, but yet he's still got tremendous speed as well and toughness. He's a 215-pound back. Ryan's 185. And again, I think the part of the thing about this offense is not only how many plays we get and how quickly we go and what our tempo is, but it's we're going to call plays that the defense gives us. So a lot of our plays are designed run and pass in the concept, and if they got too many guys in what we call the box by the offensive line, then we'll throw it. And if they got a bunch of guys out there covering the receivers, then we'll hand it off. And early in the game, they were covering our passing game more and leaving the box with 5 or 6 guys in there. We were able to hand the ball off and get positive yards. So, Ryan Jackson, 12 yards a carry. That's pretty good, regardless of who you're playing.
Tony, can you talk to us more about what you saw from David and what you saw from John in terms of their play tonight?
I was happy with both of their play. I thought they operated the offense very well. Again, I think at times our tempo could have been better, and whether that was communication or first came jitters or again, the operation by the officials getting the ball back in play with substitutions. Again, we'll have to look on the film and talk about that as a staff. But I thought they operated extremely well. I thought they made good decisions, and I thought they were very poised out there. Again, David certainly has a ton of experience, and John, just went to the prom 3 months ago. But I thought both of them, regardless of that, looked like seasoned veterans and handled themselves extremely well.
Coach, you said you had a specific plan for those quarterbacks. Did everything go to plan?
Yeah, it's Chris. When you come in late, someone already asked that, but I'm going to answer it for you because I like you. Yes, what you saw tonight was our designed plan, the 4th series of the game. John O'Corn was going in regardless of the score, and in the second half, David was going to start the half, and John was going to finish out the game.
Are you inclined now, after what you've seen from John, you've designated however, are you inclined to use both of them now in this kind of role, or did John show you something tonight that would warrant more playing time?
No, I will definitely tell you that Saturday evening. Next Saturday evening, I'll answer that question.
Was Pilot still your quarterback then?
Yes.
Coach, the defense made a lot of turnovers. What allowed them to be so opportunistic today?
That was the second question that was asked tonight. No, I'm just kidding. No one asked that question yet. At full speed to the ball, I thought they tackled extremely well, and again, it's stuff we've been emphasizing. I think Coach Gibbs and our defensive staff has done a fantastic job. I've talked about simplifying. Our guys were flying around the field and really doing a great job. I think it was the first fumble we recovered. It was just a great effort play by Trevor Harris, our rush defensive end. The ball carrier's going down. We got 2 or 3 guys on him, and he, instead of just standing there and watching it, he gets a shot in, puts his face right on the football, ball pops out, and that was down in the red zone after they hit us on the long trick play. So it was great effort. We get a tip pass, Tommy Mark intercepts it. But what I did see defensively, among other things, is 11 guys flying around the field.
Coach, it seemed like Ryan Jackson kind of got going when he started playing that 2-back set.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about how that allowed him to get going?
Well, when we're in 2 backs, we've got some unique personnel packages, and you saw Luke Stice playing some fullback, and we're able to motion Ryan, motion Luke. We have play action out of those sets, but it gives, when we're in that 2 back and you got a fullback in there with Luke, it gives us a chance to create really another gap with that fullback. And both Ryan and Kenneth Farrow have great vision, and you don't always think of this word when you're talking about the running game, but the word patience. They're patient enough, and Coach Bush has done a great job coaching this to where they let the play develop, and then you see Ryan's explosiveness and his burst, and when he hits it, he's got that speed, that breakaway speed to get to the second level.
Coach, talking about the tackles, Zach and Derek, each had 6 and 5. Did you expect that kind of performance, or did you 6 on assist on Zach and 5 unassisted on Derek?
Well, and Zach McMillan's our starting corner, so you don't always expect your one of your corners to be a leading tackler for you. But again, we played an opponent in Southern that threw the ball quite a bit, and unfortunately for us, completed quite a bit of passes. So Zach was certainly coming up and tackling, which is good to see from him. He feels as good as he has in the 4 years he's been here physically. Derek Matthews, again, to me is a tackling machine. Had an excellent game. He's always around the football. And so that doesn't surprise me that Derek's our leading tackler. Zach, anytime a corner's leading tackler, you're a little bit concerned. And again, it was, but a lot of that had to do with the team we played and what they do schematically.
Coach, going back to obviously. Is that something you would like to go more forward, like versus y'all been traditional as a pass first team, and with the way they play today, is that something to go forward, like a run first team?
Well, that's again two things about our offense and our philosophy and our schemes. Again, if a team is going to allow us by just purely numbers to run the football, we'll run it every down. Once they want to stop the run and they put more guys in what we call the box, then we'll throw the football. And again, in our program right now, we're going into the game saying, okay, who are you going to stop? You want to stop Ryan Jackson and Farrell? Well, we got Larry McDuffie, Daniel Spencer, Deontay Greenberry, Xavier Maxwell, and we got 10 receivers. We'll just run out there and throw it to if we need to. So, we're going to certainly go into a game with a run game plan and a passing game plan. But once we figure out what the defense is trying to do to stop us, then we'll adjust and see what's working best.
So go back to Spencer. How was he in this camp this previous offseason, and how his play got into how he plays?
Well, Daniel had an injury and really missed most of spring practice. And so we hardly saw him in March and April in terms of out there on the field. And he's a guy I've said publicly a couple times that evaluating our personnel over the last 4 weeks heading into game one, he is right up there in terms of the most improved player from the end of last season to this camp. He's done a great job the last 4 weeks, and I'm proud of his effort tonight.
So many newcomers. Well, on Spencer, it seems like a lot of talk centers around McDuffie, Greenberry, even Ambles, who hadn't even got here yet. But he seemed to be a guy, even though what he's done, not so much ready to pass the torch. I mean, he's one of the older guys on the team. So when you talk about the younger one, he kind of showed tonight what he can do, and it's not necessarily all about the youth movement.
Right. Well, in yes and no. Daniel Spencer played as a true freshman, so he just started his fifth semester at the University of Houston on Monday, and he's a true junior who's 20 years old. So it still seems like he just got here as a high school running back that came here and backed up Justin Johnson as a true freshman at inside receiver and played on all the special teams, and then last year started for us. So he's still, in my mind, he's still just got here. But yeah, you're right. When you look at leadership and look at guys that have been around and played a lot of football here, he certainly comes to mind offensively.
Coach, I'm sorry if this is already been asked, but is there an update on Ralph or Roger?
No update yet. Hopefully I'll know something here tomorrow.
Coach, Dante Greenberry
Mhm.
playing in the white slot at 6'3" and 193.
Mhm.
How do you see his development, and are you happy with him playing that spot?
Happy is a good word to use. Yeah, I am happy with him playing that spot. And as a true freshman last year, he played outside receiver for us. Had a great year. Was about 185 pounds, and he's actually closer to 198, 199. He's gained about 15 pounds in the last year. And we moved him from outside to inside. We think it's the ideal spot for Deontay in terms of his fearlessness going over the middle, his matchups on the outside linebackers and strong safeties, not only in the passing game but in the run game as well, for him to block on those bigger guys. So it's a perfect fit for him. We had a guy a couple years ago, James Cleveland, that had a very successful career at that same position. In Deontay's a bigger, faster version of him at the inside for us.